Welcome to the Purity Pulse podcast, your go-to podcast for everything in the natural industry and everything purity life. I'm Julie.
And I'm Erin. Today we're going to go through our regular weekly check-ins. We're going to have a great session to talk about Julie's trip to the Natexpo trade show. And then we'll finish off with our regular New to Purity Life section.
So, how have you been?
Well, I mean, I've been with you, so we've just really come back from traveling to Laval. We did our strategic session. So we've been in Laval, in the area of our DC out there.
That's right.
Talking with a bunch of our team members about planning and...
Yeah, getting organized. We always like to do a strategic planning for the year to come so everybody has their ducks in a row and we all know where we're going.
Get aligned.
Yeah, and we also like to do a session just like personal development. And for this time, we had, again, an excellent one on the imposter syndrome. And we talked about that a little bit with the gentleman session that we had a couple of episodes ago.
Interesting.
And we wanted the whole team, the managers, to experience this imposter syndrome, going a little bit deeper to really develop, your full potential. So we'll stop it here because the episode is not about that.
Well, we can give them a little bit teaser. I mean, we liked it so much that we want to share it with everybody else. So we do have an episode coming up in a few episodes that actually will go through the imposter syndrome.
Yes,
so that'll be a fun one as well.
Absolutely.
But today, it will be all about your trip to the Natexpo.
Yes, exactly. And just a little bit of extra. I was in Playa del Carmen just before that. And we were talking about what's essential when we travel and some sun care products and everything. And just as a little bit of a quick what I was doing, mainly usually when we're traveling in South, I don't go on the beach a lot.
No.
We work out and do all of that, but we definitely make sure we have our essentials. So our sun care protection. We also have all our probiotic, which is so important when we travel,
probiotics are
right?
key for traveling.
Yeah, exactly. So that's basically what I've been doing, combination with our super meeting. And so, that's about it for the check-in.
So Julie does a lot of the traveling for all of us.
Just a bit. 41 this year.
41 this year. And your more recent one was to the Natexpo trade show.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what that is.
Okay. So basically, Natexpo is a CHFA in Paris. Definitely similar to our CHFA. So you would walk in and there's booths, there's different categories, pretty much the same category as we have.
Yeah.
It's a show that has 2,500 booths. So it's
so it's CHFA but on steroids.
Yeah, it's fairly big, but the way that they divide it, I think it makes it sounds bigger than it is. And the 2005 is not really the number of booths.
Oh, okay.
They say that, but it's all divided by not just provinces within France, but also by you have like Paris and you have the Isle of Spain. So different countries.
So a lot of like geographical
Yes, different countries. So basically, it's a 3-day show. It is also for retailers, so pretty much like CHFA again. Yeah. The big difference with this show, and I've been to Nuremberg as well, the European show seems to have lots of real food. And in Paris, you had a lot of aisles of cheese and wine, and not just at happy hours. Yeah. It's like right there the whole time.
For Paris?
Yeah, that's kind of, you have your piece of bread and everybody's running after you. Hey, have a piece of bread and have a glass of wine. Right. And so it's a very happy show, I can tell you that.
Is it all, so it's all natural stuff? Is it all organic stuff?
It is all natural. So compared to the show I went in Las Vegas,
yes,
that was conventional with a tiny bit of natural. This is a total natural show.
Okay.
What is very special about this one, and we walked all the aisle and we visited all the pavilion and everything, it's to see the differences within the Canadian market.
Yeah.
Which is substantial. As an example, for us, mushrooms and MCT is nothing new. It's big on the market. They're barely having options there. It's kind of a new thing. So while it was a discovery for them, for us, it's like, oh, you have mushroom. And they're like, yeah, this is a new thing. And we're like, woo, yeah, not so new for us.
Does that seem to be category specific? Like in some areas they're kind of ahead of us, but in some areas they're kind of behind us when it comes to trends, or is it just
really?
No?
Not really. And I think we all have that impression that Europe is so ahead of us. Not so much. I would say they use different key ingredients, which, it is a difference in itself.
Yeah.
And it's good because packaging is different. They use, different sources. So it gives us options because just as a reminder, why do we go to the show, overseas for purity? Well, we want to find something different for our retailers to give, options for the store. So it's not just me too.
Yeah.
And definitely the big difference is the fact that they have other ingredients that are more popular packaging wise and scent even. I mean, what is we experience that in Canada. You go from coast to coast, it's not the same scent that you would sell. So think about going to Europe, it's a whole other world, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
In the way so it was very eye-opening in that difference that it's not that they're ahead of the game from us, but they're really much into something different. And as such, I wanted to share with you a couple of the highlight of the show and maybe even some brands that we're thinking of picking up.
Okay.
So the first one was a brand called Iswari.
Okay.
And it's basically some functional food. And for those who are listening, I'm showing a bag right now that is kind of brown, but very, their whole, I would say, offer is very bright. Like they have like packaging that stands out. And again,
it's powder inside,
functional food. And this one, I really loved it. This one is the Extreme Vitality, which is Arabica coffee.
Oh, it's a functional coffee.
It is a functional coffee. And what I really liked, even when I went to Australia and New Zealand, a lot of these countries have instant coffee. And as a Canadian, I was to say as a Quebecer, as a Canadian, instant coffee for us has kind of
a stigma to it.
Yeah, we're like poo-poo that, right?
Yeah.
It's not really coffee. But this, it's out of this world. It tastes like a beautiful espresso. And for those who know me, know that I love
you're
coffee.
picky about your coffee.
Absolutely. So we talked with them. They're from Portugal. And they're very interested definitely in the Canadian market. So we're going to be looking into that. So what we loved about that brand is definitely packaging. They have lots of sampling possible. They also create bars. So there's a variety of SKUs.
So this one says high protein. Are they all high protein, or is that just kind of one of them? Okay.
It's one of them. They have like a big variety of ingredients and offer. But so this one is a one that we really loved as taste and mix well and all of that. And support. Support was really a big thing for us to make sure that those type of brands have testings and sampling possible.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I think especially when we're talking about brands that come internationally, I mean, you can bring a lot of different things that come internationally, but if there's not that proper support there that they're willing to provide to the Canadian market, it's hard to get it off the ground, and it's hard for I know it's hard for our sales team, but it's also hard for retailers if there's not the proper support. And that can be in like language support, that can be proper POS that works in Canada, sampling, like you're saying. I think that's important for retailers to know too, that we're really looking for those vendors that are willing to put the time and effort into growing the Canadian market as well.
And it takes a while because there's a lot of work behind bringing a brand. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, we want that brand." Yes, we want it too. But there's rules and regulation. There's
but
packaging.
Here's
the thing. It takes many months to get to that, and we just think about we want a product from Europe just to bring it here. It will take months just to put it on the boat and bring it here. So there's a lot of logistic behind that. So we're careful in what we want to bring
it's
to
really
the
got to be the right fit, because unless we can do it well and make sure that it's consistently available to everybody as well.
Yes, that's key.
Because that's the other thing. I mean, you don't want to bring something in that's going to be hard for us to keep in stock, because then it's hard to keep on stock in the shelves and the whole thing. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Another big trend was everything squash and pumpkin.
Squash and pumpkin.
And
so
it
not
wa-
seasonally. This is
No,
like a...
that's exactly. We were there in October, close to Halloween, but had nothing related to that.
Right.
It was a big trend across categories. So face care, we have a brand that I wanted to show you that is called Pumpskin.
Pumpskin.
I know, Pumpskin. Very cute. The lady was a doctor in like homeopathy and also a naturopathic doctor. And she was hilarious. She was walking the aisle following us. She really wanted us to go to her booth. And the brand is neat. We know that pumpkins and all the squash are very high in omega-369.
Right.
Which is very good for the skin. So she had a couple of SKUs that were to brighten the skin, nourishing, very simple line. And this one, for those again who are listening, it's a kind of a little container that has the powder in it.
It looks like a smaller version of the deodorants that come in the cardboard. Like
Yes.
that kind of a circle container
Yes,
with that lid.
absolutely.
But
Very
it's powder
bright.
inside.
Yeah, don't open it because it's going to be like powder everywhere. But you can mix it to your food smoothies, and so it's internally, and you have your beauty
I thought this
products.
was like external. So okay, so
No.
you're mixing it into different.
Correct.
So again, functional food.
Functional food, and they had protein with that in. So that was like across the board. That was one of their trends on that show floor.
This one's very small. I don't think I've ever seen a functional food powder that's in a small container this size.
No,
so you
because-
must just be using like a teaspoon of it.
Correct. Like even a quarter spoon is good enough.
Neat.
So yeah, very neat, very different. Again, it's something that we're looking into.
Yep.
So stay tuned on that.
Okay. What else you
Another
got for me?
trend- Yes. Something that, again, it's not so new. Well, it's not new for us, but there was lots of hyaluronic acid
Yes.
everywhere in skincare. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about that when I talk about the store tour. But
Yeah.
there was a lot of that. And glycolic acid
Oh yeah.
was also a big one that we've seen. But other than that, like within the big trends, if there was nothing standing out. The one thing I observed, though, is sports nutrition does not exist.
Does not exist.
No,
Like there's just not the.
There was no booth representing. So
wow.
Yeah, I dug a little bit more because for us it is a big thing.
Well, yeah.
Like sports nutrition is big. It has been growing through also nutrition, creatine crazy in the past
like
years.
we can come at that from all sorts of angles.
Yeah, everybody in any categories or age group want to perform better, whatever they do.
Yeah.
They want to walk faster. They want to treadmill better. They want to CrossFit stronger.
Well, just support longevity and
Exactly. So I think it's more online that they're buying, like that Parisian or would buy their products, because honestly, even when we did the store tour, I didn't see anything there. Really.
Are they putting it into different kinds of stores or into different kind of categories? It's just there's just not the same demand for it.
Not the same demand. They don't buy that category the same as us.
Are they as focused on physical like health and improvement?
I'm going to say my gut instinct right now from what I've seen and talking to people that live there.
Yeah.
But that's not, 100% fact with numbers behind it. We need
fair
to
enough.
dig a little bit more. But I would say that they're not focused as much on developing the muscle mass
Right.
as we could be Canadians.
Okay.
Generally speaking. So
Okay.
their look is a lot more slimmer,
Yeah.
more athletic. I mean, when you're in Paris or France, you walk 12,000 steps
Yeah.
a day, right?
Yeah,
So
it's a different lifestyle.
It's very different. So I think that's what influenced a little bit of that of that trend.
I wonder if that will grow there though, because I mean, maybe not in the same way that it is here, but we've talked so much about protein really across categories.
Yeah.
There's so much use of that even for
Yeah.
for those that are looking to really be very lean but are still very active.
They do have protein, but we were laughing again. I was with our regional sales manager from Quebec attending that show,
Mm-hmm.
and we went to the counter to have something to eat, and it's vegan protein. So even whey protein, like we were looking, where's the whey protein? Like there's no option of that.
Huh.
So very interesting. And that's what we saw in store too when we did, I'm going to jump in the store tour. But it was fascinating to see that they had a couple of, some pharmacies had a bit of creatine that I saw and some protein powder, very smaller bags. I'm holding a bag of maca right now, but it was like very small. There's no big tub.
No, like
of
2.5 pounds or anything like that. Yeah.
Mass gainer or anything like that. wasn't the plan, definitely. So
did you have a hard time finding some CrossFit boxes?
No.
Oh no, you found those. Okay, so those exist.
No, they do exist. They're very different. Again, it's in the programming they're much lighter, and I would say they're more cardio oriented. So I look like a monster when I showed up there. That's a little bit different, but I had a great time. That was fun.
Good.
Let me take you to the store tour because
you had a whole day, right? So
Yes.
you did the trade show, but then after that you had the opportunity to actually go. It was kind of a curated tour.
It was supposed to. So here's what happened. The day before we left for the show, we got an email because on the one day we were supposed to have a tour with a specialized merchandising group.
Right.
That were taking us from store to store. And we got an email saying, there's not enough people, it's canceled.
Oh, no.
Like, great.
It's okay, you didn't come very far for this, right?
No. And they say, we'll rebook you, for the next month.
Oh,
I said,
no.
I'm sorry, but no, we're here now.
Yeah.
Please give me back my money.
Yeah.
But hey, the objective of this trip was, yes, to go to Natexpo to discover brand, understanding trends, but was a lot to bring back some information to the stores on how to do better merchandising or what's going on out there that we can bring back and share with the stores. So when I saw that, I just planned a full day, and I connected with Daniel from Boiron. He's from France. So I said, hey, give me the top stores that we should visit.
Oh, smart. And
we made a full day.
Yeah.
A full day. And lucky for us, that was the only day it wasn't raining. So that was great because we walked a lot.
Yeah, did you end up, was it kind of walking from store to store?
Well, I wouldn't say that it was all walking distance. So we did a lot of walking. I can tell you that was a lot of steps, but it's so great to walk there. That wasn't an issue. So we went to a couple of stores, and one store that everybody should look up, it's called Aromazone.
Aromazone. So Aromazone.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. And in that store, it's basically do it yourself. So you remember we talked about products, and it could be supplements, it could be beauty, aromatherapy, everything. And you remember we talked a couple of episodes ago on how people want an individualized
very
recipe.
Custom. Make it for me. Make it personal based on what I need. So they've really taken this.
Yes. So for those who are listening, I highly suggest that you tune to YouTube and watch what I'm going to show, because I brought back some samples of what they're offering basically. So it was really cool because you can pick up your single ingredients and create your own super mix that you want for yourself. So
they create a functional food that you would put into your drink or your coffee or whatever.
So
oatmeal.
You can grab your maca, you can grab your ginseng, you can grab everything.
Is it like in bulk and you could just kind of grab what you want and mix it together?
They actually have bags.
Okay.
So it's not like scooping.
Yeah.
They have herbs that is a bit of scooping like that, or beauty products that you can actually scoop some ingredients and mix your own powder with the color that you want. So
see, there's something.
So that's pretty cool because you don't have to have 15 offer of powder or foundation. You look at your skin color and you can mix,
you match it
to create your own. So that's the, I would say, makeup side of things. But going back to the supplements, so you have bags that you can create your own. So you can buy the big bags, and then they give you other container that you can buy, and then you can just mix everything. So that was one thing that was pretty cool. What they do as well is I have a sachet here of the glycolic acid 10%, which is very popular. They have hyaluronic acid, and look at that, it's liquid.
Oh, yeah.
And you can
buy almost like a plastic sachet.
Correct. And then you can buy plastic bottles. This one is already pre-made because you can also, they make it easy. You can do your own, or you can just buy the whole thing that is already good to go.
Right.
So they have here the hyaluronic acid in a little pump.
Yeah.
Or you can buy the bottle like this and just put the
then
products
put
that you
different
want
things in
in.
there.
Exactly. And interchange whenever you want.
Do they have, is it heavy on staff? Like, are there a lot of people to kind of assist with that, or how does that work?
That would be hard to tell because it was so busy.
Yeah?
It was packed.
With people kind of like playing with different...
Oh, yeah. And they have a whole section where they must be giving education seminar. So that helps people to understand how to create your own.
Well, I guess that's a bit of the DIY thing, right? I mean, if you go in there blind, then you can't really do it. You really need to know what you want.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit why I'm asking about the staff too, because you would think, I mean, even with something like glycolic acid, you can't really play around with that. You have to know a little bit about how much you're going to put in and what you can mix it with and whatnot.
Absolutely, which is ingredients that, you need to know. But now, again, you have your phone, right there, and you can search and understand the product. So I think that people have more of that knowledge right in the palm.
Yes.
There was definitely staff, but where I would like to put the thinking for some stores, hey, if you have a spot and you can educate people on how to do your own mix.
Yeah.
Right now on the market, in our Canadian market, we don't really have like all the raw ingredients for face care, but we have it for essential oils.
Yes,
so
that's exactly what I was thinking. Actually, that's one place that we
Absolutely.
could do it for sure.
And even the
and supplement or like the functional foods and the powders and the superfoods and whatnot.
Exactly. So you could have a nice fun seminar on how to teach how to do your own, and so you give people the chance to really custom their mix.
Yeah.
So
and you're right, we can easily, I mean, if you think about the supplement thing, we really are so used to kind of going in store, okay, I'm going to pick out my greens, I'm going to pick out my maca, I'm going to pick out my berries and mix it and do it at home. And then you go home and you open all the separate bags and you do it. But there's no reason why you can't just kind of change a customer's way of thinking into pick your ingredients, mix them, and then you have your own custom. Now I have a custom mix at home that feels very specific to me that I just take a scoop of. And the only difference really is that now I've mixed them all together instead of putting them in separately. But the feeling is that personal thing. I mean, we've talked about that a number of times about really people are always looking for something very individual, very specific to me, to my body, to my genetics. So if this would be a really great way to kind of offer that. And all you're doing is kind of spinning the way you're thinking.
Absolutely. And the add-on to that, I would say, is you can create event in your store. Yeah. And people like to kind be together and have fun. Yeah. And then you create those sort of
like a smoothie bar almost, and that let people play around with it, and then they can have some taste testing. Yes. Yeah, that'd be amazing. That's a great idea.
And we have great brand on the market that do have all of these ingredients, organic tradition just come to mind because they have all of that. Yeah. So I'm sure they would support something like that. Yeah. So that's my, I would say, aroma zone wow that I found. The second store or type of stores, because the difference in Europe is if you're looking for beauty or supplements, you go in pharmacies. Right. If you want food, you go in health food store. So that's very different. If you travel and you go there and you want to see beauty and supplements, you will go in the pharmacy.
Even all the green natural stuff, that's all in the pharmacy.
That will be in the they call it natural pharmacy, but all pharmacies there are all like that. They have their offer. Sizes will be very different. In some health food store, they do have a couple of like superfood or a little bit of supplements, but not great options. Right. So in the pharmacy, what's really cool is they have tons of options. Testers. Yeah. And across all store, that's one thing that we need to get better at that, to have brands that provide testers because it's everywhere and it makes such a big difference, especially in the beauty category. You need to experience. Yeah. There's even a store that's called Panier des Sens, basket of scents, if you want to translate quickly. It was a beautiful boutique, and I'm showing here one of their hand cream that they have. Smell this. You have to try that. And what was great about that store is not only they add testers for all of their hand cream, but they add a sink where you could try the hand wash to see if you really like the fragrance.
That's so basic and yet so smart.
And it was so smart, and it looked like beautifully decorated. We'll have pictures that we can share with you guys. but it just creates another experience in the store.
Yeah.
And you have the pleasure of trying different ones. And so that was another way to create that testing experience.
Well, and then so now you have the atmosphere for it, you've got the space for it, a welcoming space for it, but then you can also test multiple things because now you have the opportunity to kind of rinse it off and start again with something
Absolutely.
different, which is not usual to have.
No, exactly. And again,
this is lovely hand cream, by the way.
Yes, I know it's awesome.
Very
I'm
nice.
Looking into it as well. But it's one thing that we need to get better. I think generally speaking in store is we have the testers, but we don't have that sink or area that we can rinse and try things. So that's something that to think about. The other common thing that I saw is a lot of gift set, and not just gift set, but set.
Yes.
So box where you will have your cleanser, moisturizer. Brands over there in Paris are very good to offer that. And I think, again, we talk about that often, that during holiday season, there's not many brands that create offers like that.
Like
but
kits and whatnot, yeah.
But we need to get even better than that. Not just kits for the holidays, but for, daily. Cleanser and hand moisturizer, and that makes you discover a little bit more.
I was thinking the same thing, that discovery piece, because that also then gives the brand and the retailer a great opportunity to have even a smaller sample size of something else in there or some other item that they may not have usually bought, but now they're taking home to try, and probably are increasing the basket size further on down the road, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I would say the key takeaway of that overall trip, of course, there's new brands that we're looking into and all of that, but the way that people in, I would say Europe, but we were in Paris, so I'll talk specifically about Paris, is they really take time to live. And sitting at many restaurants along that time, there's nobody that holds a phone.
Right.
They talk to people. I was impressed. I was looking around, I was like, Andréane, did you see nobody is holding a phone? They all talk to each other.
Yeah.
And it was just beautiful to rediscover that, because a good reminder, to a fault, I'm always on my phone. But even in store, to create an experience and a connection with the product, they even push to that extent. And I think that's why they have the tester, the sink. They want you to experience with all your senses,
right,
all the products, all the flavor. No wonder they have wine and cheese, on their show floor. Yeah, because people take time and everybody's really talking. So definitely one of the big takeaway of this trip.
Neat. Yes. Wow, you got a lot out of that trip.
Yes, it was and
fantastic. I think certainly a lot of neat options that retailers could actually try within their stores.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Thanks, Julie. All right, so let's do some new to Purity Life.
Awesome.
So we've got some neat things I want to show you here, Julie. So Marlowe is a new brand of period hygiene products.
And Erin is holding some boxes right now of the different options.
Yes. So they have tampons. They offer tampons with applicators. They're the kind of applicators that kind of fold into themselves. So they're still small. They're easy to carry around. They have light and regular and super. Organic cotton, and the applicator is made from sugar cane. So it's all biodegradable, recyclable. So they've made all of the right decisions. But the really neat thing about Marlowe is they have this tampon lubricant. So we've never seen this in any other. It was actually a group of 4 women that came up with this. And interesting story is that they had been told by their doctor they were having issues getting the tampon in. Oh, well, just spit on your tampon and that will make it easier to put in. So after this terrible advice that they got, they were like, we can do better than this. Let's do better. And they did. And they came up with this product. So it's in this, the actual lubricant is in this very small kind of travel size container. And basically you just slide the tampon.
It looks like a pill bottle,
It does look a little
right?
bit like a pill bottle, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can slide the tampon in there. It lubricates the tampon, makes the tampon a lot easier to use.
Yeah.
Great for anybody using tampons across the board, whether you're new to it or whether, any sort of just drier times throughout your period, the whole thing. So really neat product. We're pretty excited about that one.
Yeah, definitely, because that's one thing that we hear commonly for women, and we'll talk about premenopause or menopause. That would be even more of a problem at that time too, for vaginal dryness, and it could even create some irritation. So this is actually really smart. I would say in store though, because it is very new and it's a new way or a new concept, that will need a bit of education for your customer.
Absolutely.
Because put on the shelf like this, tampon lubricant won't say enough, I think. It will need a little piece of education, but kudos to Marlo. I mean, this is very innovative.
It's very innovative. They've done a really good job with it.
So thank you to that.
So next to those, we have some new SKUs from Derma E.
Woohoo.
So Derma E started working with an influencer named Alba Ramos.
Yes.
And they came up with this curl line. So I don't know. So your hair is pretty straight, right?
Yeah, today I've curled them, but I'm very straight. I'm
but
the opposite
naturally
of you.
straight.
Oh, very.
So yeah, so mine, I don't know that I would say it's curly, but it definitely has some solid wave in it. I have to blow dry mine to be straight. And if I kind of just let it dry, we'll get some good curl.
Yeah.
So there's something called the curly girl method. I think a lot of people at this point will have heard about it if they have curly hair. It's been going on for probably close to a decade, honestly.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of rules about what kind of silicones you can and can't use. And there's also something called co-washing. So the idea behind co-washing is that you don't shampoo your hair. You use conditioner to scrub the oils and whatnot out of your hair. So I found it really interesting that they actually have a co-wash. I think that's what you're holding, right?
Yes, that's what I'm holding. It's a 2-in-1 curl conditioner and co-wash. Yes.
So Derma E is really, and Alba Ramos has really picked up on this method and like the right way to treat curls. So they have that co-wash. They do have a wash day curl shampoo that has flax oil in it, avocado oil. They have a 2-in-1 defining curl cream and leave-in with flaxseed oil. That's another one that's actually very commonly, there's all sorts of stuff online about how to get the flax seeds to work for you and whatnot. So this is a much easier way to do it.
Yeah, Derma E is always very good to be, I find, ahead of the game or ahead of the trends, or they take the trends and they really bring it into natural, where we're always sort of a little bit behind. Conventional is really quick to jump on that. And what they're really good at too is the product actually work.
Yes, exactly.
Especially for hair. It's a very difficult category to perform. And by the way, the scent of these products, I mean, I have very straight hair, but I think I'm going to give it a go because it's very fresh.
Well,
and
it's very nourishing, right?
Yeah, essential oils, right? Base too, as a scent. So that's a fabulous collection to add to your store. And definitely the deep treatment. It's a category that is extremely trendy. We talked about hair loss, which is not the case with this, but everything hair and giving like that routine, people are going back to, pampering themselves.
I was going to say, and people are willing to put a lot of money down for this kind of stuff too. So
absolutely.
It's a surprisingly easy sell.
I give it a 5-star.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. And don't forget to like and subscribe and send us your feedback at marketing@puritylife.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at PurityLifeHealthProductHealthy, and myself personally at Julie_JD_girlpower. I can't even remember my Instagram. How about you, Erin?
And me at Erin G. Macklin.
Excellent.
And don't forget to join us next week where we're going to interview Erin Ashley of Erin Wellness.
Very exciting.
Yes. Thank you.